What if I told you there's a single, incredibly simple ingredient that you could add to your morning coffee and it could do 3 things that, frankly, most people over 60 believe are just impossible? We're talking about waking up your body's dormant stem cells, your internal repair crew, starving cancer's favorite food source, and burning off that dangerous, deep belly fat that wraps around your organs. It sounds almost too good to be true, right? Well, let's dive into the actual science behind it.
So the big question is, can one little change to your morning routine really tackle the major drivers of aging? We are going to unpack the peer-reviewed science behind this and see how it claims to do a few amazing things.
First off, it promises to reactivate your body's internal repair crews, those stem cells that we know just aren't as active as we get older. And second, to create an environment inside your body where cancer cells just can't get the fuel they need to thrive. And number 3, to specifically go after and burn that really nasty fat, the visceral fat that causes so much inflammation and disease. Now, to get how one ingredient could possibly pull all this off, we first have to understand the problem it's designed to fix.
Once we get past 60, there are these 3 biological processes that really start to speed up. And what's worse, they all feed off each other, creating this downward spiral that makes everything feel just harder. Let's kick things off with the first process, which is happening right now inside every cell in your body.
It's called mitochondrial senescence. That's a mouthful. But your mitochondria are basically the tiny power plants in your cells. Here's the kicker. By the time you're 65, research shows that their numbers can drop by 40 to 50%. Your cells are literally trying to run on half power. This is the root cause of that deep fatigue you might feel, and it's why recovering from anything seems to take forever.
So, the second problem is stem cell depletion. Just think of your stem cells as your body's own personal repair crew, on call 24/7. But by age 65, that crew is down to less than 40% of its original size. That means damage doesn't get fixed as quickly, and those damaged cells can hang around and cause trouble.
And here's where it all connects and becomes a vicious cycle. Your declining power plants, the mitochondria, create more damage to your DNA. At the same time, you have fewer stem cells available to come in and make repairs. All this dysfunction forces your body to rely more and more on sugar, glucose, for energy. And guess what loves a sugary environment? Cancer cells. It's a terrible feedback loop. But what if we could break that cycle?
Well, the research is pointing to a really powerful way to interrupt all 3 of these processes at the exact same time. And it all comes down to a very specific type of fat that behaves totally differently from any other fat you eat. See, most of the fats we eat, like from olive oil or nuts, are long-chain fats. They have to go through a whole complicated digestive process, and they're pretty easily stored as body fat. But medium-chain triglycerides, or MCT oil, that's a whole different ballgame. Because of their shorter structure, they can bypass all that, go straight to your liver, and get turned into instant energy. But it's not just any energy.
Your liver takes that MCT oil and turns it into this amazing superfuel molecule called beta-hydroxybutyrate, or BHB for short. You've probably heard of these as ketones. And here's what's so critical. MCT oil helps you produce these ketones even if you're not on a strict hardcore keto diet. This one molecule, BHB, is the key that unlocks the door to breaking that aging cycle. Let me show you how. The science has actually pinpointed 5 specific ways that this process goes to work, rejuvenating your body right down at the cellular level.
Okay, so first it kickstarts fat burning. Then it rebuilds those cellular power plants and protects your stem cells. It also creates an environment that cancer cells hate. Plus, it helps you hold on to your precious muscle while you lose fat. And finally, it has this incredible synergy with the caffeine in your coffee. Let's break each one of these down.
First up, fat burning. So, in one 16-week clinical trial, one group took MCT oil and another took olive oil. The MCT group lost way more weight. But here's the really important part. It's the kind of fat they lost. They had a nearly 3% greater reduction specifically in that dangerous visceral fat around their organs. The BHB from the MCTs was literally telling their cells, hey, stop burning sugar, start burning this fat instead.
Second, let's talk about rebuilding those power plants. You're not just stuck with the mitochondria you have. Research from the journal PLOS1 found that MCTs flip a switch in your body that tells it to build new mitochondria. Get this, after just 4 weeks, people had 28% more mitochondria in their muscle cells. It's like your cellular factories went from running on 50 generators back up to 80.
This is a direct reversal of that energy decline we see with age. And this directly ties into the stem cell connection. That same BHB molecule, the superfuel, has been shown to keep stem cells in a protected, resting state. Think of it like keeping your repair crew in the barracks, safe and sound, instead of running them ragged. This preserves them, keeping them healthy and ready to spring into action when your body really needs them.
Third is the cancer connection, and this is based on Nobel Prize-winning science. Cancer cells are absolute sugar addicts. Their mitochondria are broken, so they can't really use fats or ketones for fuel very well. So here's the takeaway. When you boost your BHB levels with MCT oil, you're giving your healthy cells clean, powerful energy, while at the same time, you're literally starving cancer cells of the glucose they desperately need to grow.
Number 4, preserving muscle. This is so important, especially for seniors. Usually, when you lose muscle right along with the fat, and that's terrible for your strength and metabolism. But BHB is what we call anti-catabolic. It protects your muscle from being broken down. In one study with adults aged 55 to 75, the MCT group actually gained almost a full kilogram of muscle while losing over 3 kilograms of fat. I mean, that's the holy grail of body composition, and something most people think is impossible after 50. And fifth, the magic of putting it in your coffee. So, caffeine is great. It tells your fat cells to open up and release fat into your bloodstream. But that fat has to go somewhere, right? While the MCT oil creates the demand for fuel. It says, hey, send that fat over here, we'll burn it. The effects aren't just 1 + 1 = 2, it's more like 1 + 1 = 3. Together, they create a fat-burning powerhouse that's stronger than either one could ever be on its own. Okay, so the science is definitely there. But if you want to get these kinds of results, how you do it, the protocol, is everything. So let's go over the exact daily routine.
First things first, not all MCT oil is created equal. You have to read the label. What you're looking for is pure C8. That's the gold standard for turning into ketones fast. A blend of C8 and C10 is also good. What you want to avoid are the cheaper oils that are full of C12 or lauric acid. It just doesn't work very well for this purpose. It acts more like a regular fat.
All right, here's the precise protocol. You've got to start slow, just 1 teaspoon for the first few days. This lets your stomach get used to it. After that, you can move up to 1 tablespoon. Now this next part is the most important tip I can give you. You must blend it. Don't just stir it in. If you stir, you just get a nasty oil slick. But when you use a blender, it gets emulsified and creamy, and that's what allows your body to absorb it. Finally, drink it on an empty stomach and try to wait 2, maybe even 4 hours before you eat. This really maximizes all the metabolic benefits.
And remember, be patient with your body. In the first week or 2, the first thing you'll probably notice is better mental clarity and your hunger just kind of disappears. The real measurable fat loss, that usually kicks in between weeks 3 and 8. And then, around month 3 and beyond, that's when you'll really start to feel the full effects of having more cellular energy from rebuilding all those mitochondria. That's also when you might see some great improvements in your health numbers.
You know, getting older after 60, it's not a one-way street. It's more like a conversation your body is having with itself. And this science shows us that we can actually change the tone of that conversation. Mitochondrial decline, stem cell depletion, these aren't just things that happen to you. They are processes that listen and respond to the signals you send them. The evidence is solid, the protocol is simple. So really, the only question left is, what instructions are you going to give your cells tomorrow morning?
If you found this video helpful, please like it, share it with a friend who might need it, and subscribe to HealthPulse Hub for more simple health tips.